Good evening. It is 7 o'clock on a snowy and chilly evening in Independence, Missouri. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Welcome to this Independence City Council Candidates Forum, sponsored by the Independence Chamber of Commerce. I'm Jeff Fox. I'm the editor of the Examiner, and I'll be the moderator this evening. The top 4 vote getters next Tuesday will advance to the general municipal election in April. What is the best path for this city to contain utility rates for citizens while also using city-owned utilities to drive economic development? Jared Fears.
Well, Jeff, the best path to contain the utility rates is through economic development, because it's through economic development. We've seen recently presentations to the council. I've been attending council meetings since May, since I first started thinking about this, and we have heard that, in order to keep our rates in line, we need economic development. We need more businesses. We need more houses to come into our community to keep our rates down. So we do need to keep that. We do need to have economic development. It will also help with the financial stability of our city. We need more tax base for financial stability. We need to make better use of vacant retail space to develop land as well as already developed space. The long and the short of it is, without economic development, we will continue to struggle financially. IPL rates will go higher. Infrastructure will suffer. We need to work on economic development. And the way that really gets done, I think, is by City Hall and the council and the mayor reestablishing trust with its citizens to help create the opportunity with citizens and developers to create the opportunity that can be had with economic development.
Karen DeLucy.
You're just making me remember all that money spent by IPL that never should have happened, but did. 10 million here, 1 million there, 2 million there. And I argued against it. I guess people decided that I'm being ridiculous. And then along comes these cuts to the rates right by my cuff, 2 and then 4%. I absolutely was in favor of that. There is no way we can ask our people to carry those burdens. We have got to maintain using our money wisely. And just because it's IPL, that does not mean we can't use the general fund. Everybody talks about, well, IPL is the only one to do A, B, and C. No, it's not. We can use our best mind. We can look at the money. We can look at our people and say, okay, what are we going to do to further delete the high cost of living here? And we need to keep great workers. Mr. Nails right now, he's there. Thank you, Lord, he's there. Before him, we had 2 really good people. They both left. The one before that, who was wonderful, left. There's been a lot of bad issues going on in city government. That has to stop. We need to keep people who know what they're doing, who also, by the way, go to Public Utility Board and speak. That's all I have.
Marcy Gregg, that question goes to you.
And thank you, Jeff. The reality is, I think we have to have some really hard conversations in the community about the future of IPL, about where we're at right now with our ability to afford the costs of this utility and the burden that it's placing on our citizens. We've spent a lot of money on some really good studies by experts to tell us what has to happen in order to reduce the costs and the impact to our residents. And what they have told us is that we need to either grow our community by 30,000 people. And mind you, we haven't grown more than about 5 or 10,000 in 30 years. Or we need to add over 4,000 new commercial businesses, commercial users. Or we need to bring in 27 new industrial customers, or some combination of all of those things. Those are some really hard hills to climb. And I think at the same time, we have to have conversations about the money that was spent in the past unnecessarily. Spending $10 million to decommission a plant that didn't need to be decommissioned, and in doing so to spend more than twice the amount of the low bid on that project, was wasteful, unwise, and we are now paying a price. I don't have, the answer to the question, what do we do to make this work for the future? But I do know that we have a lot of good minds in IPL, and we have a lot of expert advice already given to us. What we need now is a council who will sit down and listen to that and start making decisions based on the best interests of our community, and in running that utility truly like a business as the charter requires. Thank you.
So again, the question is, what is the best path for this city to contain utility rates for its citizens while also using its city-owned utilities, all of them, to drive economic development? Bill Preston.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, you must have done this before, because these are brilliant questions. Economic development is a diversified animal. There is a multi-pronged approach. They're all integrated. Economic development drives a diversified base. Therefore, we have to attract entities of industry, whether that industry is industrial, manufacturing, or we look at our population that is undertrained and undereducated. And if we then develop an industry to address that, we would be looking at an industry, the clean industry of education. I know of a small town in Arkansas with 5 universities. Educating people is important. There's Kirksville with a population of some 17,000 people, and they have a medical school, a dental school, and a university. But what they also have is an engaged population that refuse to permit mere elected officials to think that they have all the answers. I again emphasize the fact I intend to fully engage the brilliant people of Independence, and with their thoughtfulness, with the professional consultants that we have hired, paid, and refuse to listen to their advice, perhaps we can redirect our efforts in the direction of common sense, just plain common sense, honesty, and integrity. I emphasize, I did law enforcement. I have zero tolerance for foolishness.
And finally, Mike Huff, that question goes to you.
Yes. This Independence Power and Light's owned by the citizens of this city, and it's kind of interesting. I've been preaching this all along about generation and the future of Independence Power and Light. The prior councils have just kicked this can down the road. The units out there that we have that we don't even hardly use are 60 plus years old. And here we are, we have some big decisions to make. And this council, that's a few of them on here at this point, are still trying to kick this can down the road. It's hard to get capital investment. This is an important part of that. I'm just amazed. I did a 4% and a 2% rate reduction. I was told at that point that Independence Power and Light would be broke in less than a year. That rates were going to go up 11%. Went through that, end up with all kinds of surplus money. Went in to give $193 to the citizens. Another one that I introduced, got chastised for that by many, many council members. that I was going to bankrupt Power and Light. Well, here we go. We've got, I don't know, $68 million. Councilwoman DeLucci introduced a thing of a bill for reserves being 25 million, and all of a sudden changed heart now and went up to $68 million. We've never used any reserve money in this city for the life of the reserve funds. Never have we ever used it. And now we increase it to $68 million. This is the citizens' money, and the charter says be refunded. We need to get this generation thing figured out. It's very important to this city, and it will bring the capital investment. Thank you.